weak opening. Very tacky editing. Rule number 1. Don't use the word cure. Was there bribery involved? I know there were a lot of underhand tactics, but was bribery among them?
He was working with the top researchers in the world. He was doing revolutionary work, and the media really picked this up. And then suddenly, after the 30s, nothing ever again. You never heard from Reif.
You did hear from him again.
Which shows a banquet thrown in Reif's honor.
This narrator sounds like a robot.
And then, years later, all these people that were at this banquet in honor of Reif denied even knowing him.
Milbank Johnson didn't deny knowing Reif.
Reif invented a series of super microscopes, which allowed him to see live microbes as small as a virus, an ability considered impossible even today.
Impossible today? All the tools are still there. How could it be impossible today?
Originally, I read the Cancer Cure That Worked by Barry Lyons.
He was a twat. You'd know that if you had a clue.
I had the opportunity to go through all the research that was bibliographed in the 1930s and 1940s. And it's all there. It's incredible. It's all there. It's plain as day, and nobody knows about it. It's hidden. It's buried.
Stephen Ross would like a word. Also, James Bear, who you know yourself knows. So you're contradicting yourself.
Well, when we first learned of the Reif story, we quickly found that there was no consensus in some of the details of the story. Every time you hear this story, it's different.
You're part of the problem, pal. Is that a montage or a cue for EDM music? You wanted to look futuristic. The only way you've accomplished that is by jumping the gun on the ADHD era of TikTok editing. At this stage, the film begins to feel badly structured. Is this meant as crime scene music or sad French music? Either way, it sucks. Oh, Maurice Gibb. Where did it all go wrong?
At university because their field becomes irrelevant overnight.
This guy looks stoned. It would explain a lot. Tacky font. Awful music.
He was equipped to design, build, and operate virtually any type of scientific instrument that he needed.
All types of scientific devices? All of them? As in things far removed from microscopy?
Years, Reif constructed a series of 5 microscopes, all of which were referred to as virus microscopes.
This audio quality is awful.
So when you get light in the same range or a corresponding range, it will cause those microorganisms to fluoresce. That's something that people hadn't really done before or since. Use monochromatic light to investigate microorganisms and determine species specificity, a specific species of a microorganism.
This is badly explained. I've researched this for months now and I can barely understand what he's telling me.
You could identify which virus you're looking at by the color that it refracted. So that had never been done and probably still hasn't been done today.
Well, there's John Crane in the 60s and James Bear in the 90s. No apostrophe.
The universal microscope was a revolutionary breakthrough in optics altogether. And it's a very simple principle.
Simple? You're simple.
And it's amazing that no one has discovered it before then or reinvented it since then.
Once again, James Bear reinvented it. I also discovered this film is listed under the category of education.
As an inventor myself, I hold 3 patents. I build robotic systems.
Did you put one into yourself? You talk like a robot.
Ironically, history has dubbed Louis Pasteur as the founder of the germ theory of disease, the idea that infection is the primary pathway to illness.
Infection causes illnesses. I could have told you that.
He believed he had found the very media that would allow bacteria to transform into their tiny, filterable state. He called it the K-media.
K-media. I'm expecting at any given second to hear our documentary finished quicker than this. What's the hold-up?
Finally, the voice of conventional microbiology, the most powerful man in the field, Dr. Thomas Rivers of the Rockefeller Institute.
Don't talk to me about anything Rockefeller related. I can't see the damn paper. Paper and subtitles at the same time.
Most of them disregarded pleomorphism as fallacy, recalling the primacy of Pasteur's germ theory of disease and the spectacle of Thomas Rivers publicly shutting down Dr. Kendall in the early 1930s.
Can you prove that Kendall was shut down?
I guess with allopathic medicine, though, and the germ theory at the basis says that we are attacked by external microbes, viruses, bacteria, and anything in between, and that's what's affecting our body. But pleomorphists would say that if the environment's right in our body, yeah, that can happen, but at the same time, any existing microbes in our body can have positive.
Diseases change form if they're exposed to the right thing. It didn't take me multiple minutes.
Do you have any theory at all as far as malignancies are concerned in relation to oxygenation of the individual cell?
No subtitles for this voice, and it's hard to hear.
So what it means is you have to have a pre-existing condition in the terrain for the microorganism to take root or take hold.
Terrain, is that referring to the body? This sounds like a very bad attempt at Nosferatu music.
With Dr. Johnson's supervision and under the auspices of the University of Southern California, they formed a special research committee, and in 1934 they took 16 terminally ill patients and within a period of 3 months successfully treated all of them.
No. 14 out of 16. Tacky editing. Again.
Which is a friend of both of us, of course. When he says, good Lord, he says,
Now you have subtitles again.
this board pronounced 14 of our cases clinically cured.
I told you, it was 14.
Dr. Couch describes his impressions.
Sounds like easygoing Earthbound music.
Never go. It goes no place.
What is that? Rife made it look scary. Why? It looks like something a primary schooler would have done while playing around with filters.
Dr. Rife evaluated it, 34. Proved it conclusively.
Playing hot and cold with the subtitles again.
Together with the frequencies that he uses to kill microorganisms, without divulging the frequencies themselves.
What exactly is 683,000 related to?
When money comes in the door, science goes out the window. So it's much like what happened with the Beam Rate Corporation. You know, once the money came in, the greed and the infighting, and it just destroyed itself.
That's your first bit of good editing.
At some point in time, Philip Hoyland began making changes.
Can you be more specific than at some point in time?
So we decided to come over and we gave her on the Queen Mary on the 8th of May, I think it was, 1938.
Perhaps this part was subtitled because the American producers couldn't understand an upper-class accent. No full stop. To be fair, that is a good intro. These two lines of text get on top of each other.
Under his guidance and with his expansion of revenues from the journal, he converted the association from
This music is so bad. Subtitles and no voice to go with them?
And he's left destitute at the end of it and becomes an alcoholic. And as everyone knows, that's the drug that will destroy any human being.
It's bad, but you can recover. Taking way too long to say what I said in about 8 seconds. Taking way too long to cover the trial as well. Awful pacing. Is that some sort of alternative art? Horrible editing. Not one mention of Mrs. Marsh.
Crane was interested in this for the money he could get out of it.
And also, I think his interests were partially clouded by commercial interest in trying to produce this commercially rather than focusing on the science.
That is a slander. He saved his friend's wife from cancer.
Apparently, for Rife to get the money to buy alcohol, he would borrow it from Crane. And Crane took equipment for security and for sale.
No backing up any of it. Also, where did John Crane get the money for that?
At the beginning of the 1960s, John Crane came up with the idea of taking the variable audio frequency that were operating in the original type of Rife machines, and he thought of applying that directly to the body through metal plates, and thereby completely changed the design and the principle of the Rife instrument.
They had to get rid of the tube because of radio.
These days, the FDA has been overturned by the Life Extension Foundation, for instance. The Life Extension Foundation had the FDA come in and confiscate all their products, trying to put them out of business, which was their usual tactic at that time, to do that with alternative people. And the Life Extension Foundation stood up, found funding, went after them, beat them in court, won an award, got all their product back.
Hope it hurts, FDA. This doesn't sound like a man who was trained as a lawyer talking. It sounds like some American college student trying to sound intelligent. Also, you've an odd idea of Indian history. Gandhi was very talkative for a dead man. Swat.
Because I got high. La da 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 da. I was gonna go to class before I got high. Come on, y'all. Check it out.
Hello, my acolytes. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I did debuting it, because one of the few things I enjoy more than insulting my competitors, if you can call them that, is serving as entertainment's officer to you all. Medical officer is the very best, but even Professor O needs some variety. If you enjoyed this, consider viewing our documentary, What Rise and Fall Should Have Been Instead of What It Is. Or take a look at our other venture into the realms of comedy. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to extend my influence.